and we are here. This is a free lunch and learn where you give you an update on what's going on with Poetry for Personal Power. So this week this is May 9th, which is the second week of May, and we're going into our last little push to get everyone to get signed up and involved with Ride of Joy Conference. The Ride of Joy Conference is October 13th to the 15th, and we are looking for speakers and artists. If you are a speaker or an artist or someone who thinks you have something to share with us, please go to our website. The website is Right of Joy. Let me pull if I can pull up this banner. It's rightofjoy.com. Bam, there it is. So if you are interested in being a artist with us for that event, or if you're interested in being a speaker or you have some type of workshop, go to that website and sign up. We are looking for you. So I have a special guest on my show today. We have Stephen Willis. He is here with he is one of the speakers. Well, he's one of the artists who's going to be for the Ride of Joy. He is going to be the feature for this slam. So let's talk a little bit about this slam. So it's $1,000 slam. Now, if you know anything about slam poetry, you know $1,000 is on the line. You're gonna have poets coming in from all over the country trying to be involved in that slam. And we already got people inquiring about the slam. So he is going to be the feature for that. Why don't you introduce yourself to everyone?
Sure, I am Stephen Willis. I'm a spoken word artist, actor, originally from Chicago, Illinois. Most people know me from the work I've done with the New York Poets Cafe and other artistic things throughout New York. But I'm now based here in Iowa City, Iowa. So I'm super excited to be here. Super excited to be a part of the slam. I think it's going to be an amazing time for sure.
Okay. So tell us, how did you end up getting involved with Ride of Joy? Did you get like an email or call? Like, how did this end up happening?
Yeah, I was reached out to by one of your organizers who I think was a fond and a fan of my work. I also do a lot of work in poetry workshops and do a lot of facilitating as well. And of course, the Rite of Joy conference gives us the opportunity to do all these things. It's not just about performing; it's also about having the opportunity to give workshops and give back to the community in that manner. And so you couple those two things with the fact that I also am like a huge power of the mind person. I'm a huge, huge on my affirmations, huge on, keeping myself in the right mental space. And I think one of your organizers saw that I was the perfect fit for it. So I was happy to be considered, happy to be included. I think it's going to be an amazing time around, so for sure.
Well, the Ride of Joy Conference, this is the second annual Ride of Joy Conference, so I'm going to give a little background about what the conference is about. It's about focusing on the uplifting and enrichment of and messaging of mental health in the African American community. So that's something that we definitely want people to be involved in. A lot of people know, I mean, me, we're both African American, we know in our community, mental health stigma is there. It's still there, very much so, and it's not talked about much. So we're trying to push past that and get a conference that's going to be focused on mental health, how to deal with mental health, how to connect in the community, and what that looks like. So, this moving to you personally, why don't you tell us a little bit about your initial start with poetry? And everybody has their little story of how they were inspired, or they said, "Oh, we've always been writing" or something like that. Tell us about your personal journey in poetry.
Yeah, like most kids, I'm born and raised in Chicago. So like most kids, I want to be a rapper. I
Okay.
think the first poem I ever did was on accident. I had a performance and I left my music at home.
Mm.
And I kind of went up to the DJ and was like, yo, I left my music at home. I was like 13. And the guy was like, so you're doing a poem? And I'm like, nah, I rap, but I left my music at home. He's like, so you doing a poem? You know what I mean? And that was that. Like he was an older DJ. So in my mind, I'm like, bro, just go to YouTube. YouTube existed then. Yeah. Maybe YouTube did. But I'm like, yo, go to LimeWire, download the joint, like play it for me. This old Jamaican dude was not about to
He
do
was
that.
like, no.
Nah, he was like, oh, you doing poetry today, homeboy. And so that's the first poem I ever did. And then when I got to high school, Chicago has Louder Than a Bomb, which was the largest teen poetry festival in the world. And so I started doing poetry that way. But I thought I was done. You know, after I kind of turned 18 and did a little bit of poetry locally in the city, I would have never thought I would have been doing it full time as a career. But moving to New York to go to undergrad for college, I was immersed into that world. New York Poets Cafe, Honor Slam, Louder Arts was still a thing at the time. Just it was an entire new world to discover. And then in doing it in New York, I realized, like, wow, this could really be a career. This could really be something that I do forever. So here I am, half my life later, after that man told me I was doing a poem. More than half my life later, 29. After that man told me I was doing a poem, I'm still poeming.
So you never went back to doing rap at all, or you just stick to
Man, I never went back to the raps because I joke with people all the time. I was like, with poetry, all you really need is like yourself.
Yeah.
Where rap, like, you know, you need a producer. Not a producer want money. You need a studio. Not a studio want money.
Well, money,
You need an engineer. I'm like, look, y'all, I don't know if I got all the paper. So I'm just gonna stick to writing these poems and see if I can like maximize some of this for myself. But I ain't got that much paper to be passing around. So shouts out to people who rap or like who work with their friends and get it done, because I couldn't do it.
You have an interesting educational background too. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I have 2 masters. Well, a master's and a half. I'm a year away from my second. My first master's is in theater, so I'm a trained actor. And then currently, I just finished my first year at the University of Iowa Writers Workshop, getting my second master's in poetry. And for me, I tell people all the time that, like, people are like, yo, that's crazy. Your theater program is 3 years. Your poetry program is 2 years. Like, what's up with that? And I tell them, like, well, spoken word is the marriage between performance art and literary art. It's taking everything we love about literature, whether it be, metaphors, similes, imagery, syntax, point of view, language, and then mixing that with everything we love about performance, whether that be acting, whether that be dance, whether that be beatboxing, whatever. And so for me, a degree in performance, acting, and then a degree in poetry, literature, I made my own doctorate degree, essentially. I gave myself a doctorate in spoken word. I didn't abandon spoken word. I found a way educationally to maximize in both of those areas, the poetry area and the performance area, so I can really infuse something and approach both crafts together in a very new and informative way. So it was a crazy way to do things, but it was what I felt like I needed to do.
So, what's your advice to someone who's going to take the academic route with poetry? You know, there's a lot of poets who they just stage, they just do it. They don't get the formal education. Like, what would you say to somebody who's saying, like, I think I want to go that route?
I would encourage them to do it, because what it's doing above all else. I think the issue that a lot of people feel like is they're going to be changed. No one can change you. You have to make a decision to change. Also, if we being honest about life, like when it's time to change, life gonna make you change. So like, you know what I mean? So don't even worry about that. It's really just giving you a toolkit. It's become very interesting for me to see how people view things differently. It's becoming very interesting to me to see what a page poet thinks about alliteration, what a page poet thinks about syntax, and how they approach it differently. And so I'm adding that on top of the things that I know intuitively from being a Black artist. So I'm not letting that change me or morph me to be more anything that's not who I am. I'm taking the meat and throwing away the bones. I think also it just, as much as I hate to say it, being credentialed in something by having a master's degree in it, it just makes people look at you different. And unfortunately, we live in a type of world where people do judge you by those things.
Yeah.
We can't allow ourselves to be judged by those things. We need to be able to respect our own self as artists. But in a world that unfortunately cares much about all of that stuff, they are looking for it. And so, even if for that regard, allowing it to get you in certain rooms that you weren't probably going to get access to before, but once you're there, just be who you are and who you were going to be with or without that credential.
You talked about the importance of affirmations. Tell us how important that is to mental health.
Ooh, it's super important. Not to be a super nerd, but um, when I was young, like I joke that I probably have a self-help book collection that rivals most bookstores. I do. Everyone from Wayne Dyer to Lao Tzu to Jesus, Mike Dooley, The Secret. I mean, everything's in it. And what I know about an affirmation is this: like, so when you talk about the power of the mind, you hear about the subconscious mind. Okay? And people, your subconscious mind is supposed to be this thing that controls you, it tells you your real thoughts, how you feel, it's creating the reality. And then you want to know, okay, how do I change my subconscious mind? Well, you change your subconscious mind through conscious action. What are you doing right now? And affirmation, as well as visualization, or as well as active moments of gratitude, right, are conscious ways to change your mind. So when I wake up every day and I say, I am beautiful, as a person who struggled a lot with that look, and if I say I am beautiful, that is me consciously trying to reset my subconscious mind. Now, the mistake that people make with their affirmations is they like say it over and over and over and over and over again, and like think that's what's going to make it happen. It's not a spell. It's not a magic trick. You know what I mean? It's not like,
A bit. I always thought that's how affirmations were supposed to be. Like you're supposed to, you know, say them repeatedly or get them in your mind frame where it's like, okay, I gotta repeatedly do this, and then it'll stick in, you know.
right,
But I know I'm an affirmation girl as well. I used to have on my Instagram. I have like every day I was posting like some type of
yeah,
affirmation or something, and I have an app on my phone. So a lot of people don't realize the power in that. Whenever you are speaking positivity and how it gets into your psyche, and it's
right.
I was wondering like how do you convey that to people, especially if you have like you say you've done workshops and things like that.
Right. Yeah. Like, yeah, it's not a magic trick. It's something that's slowly working to change your subconscious mind. But also it's supposed to work as armor. Like people use it as a weapon. No, it's armor. I'm wearing this today. I woke up and told myself I'm beautiful. So now I'm present in this moment, operating and living life like I'm beautiful. I told myself I'm successful. So now I'm operating and living life like I'm successful. I'm wearing it. I'm living as if I have it now. I'm living my affirmations now. I'm not saying my affirmations over and over and over until they appear. That they'll never appear then. You're constantly living in the future. How can you possess those things now? And that is one of the things that I try to do with how I do my workshops, getting particularly connecting it to acting or particularly connecting it to storytelling. Because when you're acting, it's living truthfully under imaginary circumstances. That's what an affirmation is. You living truthfully under imaginary circumstances or living in a circumstance that you want to see manifested. I'm living truthfully under that now, acting and responding. So a lot of the work that I do is trying to get people to see that, like, that character that you put on in theater or that character that you put on in that poem, in that persona piece, you could do that with your affirmations. You say you the baddest bee to walk the, act like it, live like it, indulge in that. And when you feel it wearing off, that insecurity hit, boom, that's when you hit that affirmation again. Or getting people to write their stories out. You know what I mean? Write out your story. Use your imagination to write out your story of how you want your life to be, right? I woke up one day in my $1 million mansion with Michael B. Jordan as my husband because he left Lori Harvey and whatever it is. And what that happens is you start to feel good. It's about feeling good. It's about uh, using this tool of imagination. That's what I'm about. Using your tool and your imagination to try to help you better conquer this world. And that's what I think a lot of my work, a lot of my workshops is really, really aiming to do for people.
Okay. So, this might be a little deep. I was thinking, like, what would you say is the most enriching thing you learned? Yeah, I'm gonna go deep a little bit. What would you say is the most enriching thing you learned from being a stage poet and a page poet, like the combination?
Ooh, most interesting thing I learned being a stage poet and being a most interesting thing I learned about being a stage poet is you don't need that many words.
Okay.
I think, like in slam, we poems are like usually 3 minutes,
Yeah.
and
3 minutes.
people write 2 minutes and 45 seconds worth of words, and it's like, no, you probably just need 2 minutes worth of words, and use your body, your performance, your voice to do the rest. Like, I don't need to be like, when my mama died, I was really sad. Or I could go, mama died. Whoa, 2 words. Got the same exact thing apart that you knew mama died and I was sad because I played sad. I didn't need to say that. So that's what I learned. I don't need that many words. I think with page poetry, I learned I don't need that many words. In this regard, I was helping a friend with the poem, um, and she was telling a story about her father, and the story was like, I was in the backyard. It was a poem. It was like, in the backyard at my grandma's house, my father had a magnifying glass. He said they used to kill ants this way. That's how the poem started.
Mm.
And I asked her, what happened if the poem starts, they used to kill ants this way? And she was like, whoa. And it was like, yeah, because sometimes in page poetry, it's better to just bring you in the image. Forget all the contextualization, where I'm at, who I'm with, what we doing. Sometimes that takes it out of the poem for people, right? But what happens if in the words, the images in page poetry, let the images exist more, right? Let the image exist where, like, I'm here. And then throughout the rest of the story, you can reveal your father's there, your grandma's there, the backyard. It becomes unraveling. I think that when we write on the page, we want to give too much too early,
Yeah.
when really it's better to give less. String them along, so they constantly are trying to get more. But they're so enveloped and enwrapped in how you're presenting the story that they continue to read on.
Great answer. I actually saw Asia. Oh, and she said that was.
Yeah, we got a shout out. Yes, sir.
So we got people watching. So what is next for you? You have you're very accomplished. What are some things we can probably look forward to for your feature for the plan?
So, for my feature for the slam. Oh, snap. Okay.
I mean, I know it's so far away, but still,
I might have totally new goals by then. I will say this. One, I want to give a shameless plugger for my book, A Peculiar People.
Okay, go ahead, plug your stuff. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, that came out April 26th, my baby. It is, you can find it on my website, StephenWillisPoetry.com. So my first and last name, which you can see in the box, and then addpoetry.com. You can find it on the books. You can purchase it at Barnes and Noble. Purchase it from my online, but you can purchase it on Barnes and Noble. You could purchase it on Amazon, wherever.
With StephenWillis.com.
Yep, StephenWillisPoetry.com. It's available on my website. Go check it out. But what you can expect
I
to see.
got you.
Whoa! This is good. But what you can expect to see from me in the future is a lot more theatrical poetry. I speak a lot in characters. I do a lot of performance and different mindsets of different people. But I also stay true to the poetics. So a lot of alliteration, a lot of wordplay, a lot of metaphors, similes, onomatopoeia. Like I'm constantly engulfed into the craft, but I'm also engulfed into the craft of theater of becoming different people on stage. I'm working on a few one-person shows, so that's shows where I am the solo actor on stage performing. I'm working on a few of those. I got one of those coming up. I think by this time next year, you can expect to see the first one-person show written and produced by Stephen Willis to be on a stage near you.
I think you should try to do a workshop too. I liked your affirmations commentary.
All right. You know what?
I mean, there's still time to sign up to do a workshop. You could be an artist.
I am doing a workshop at the series. It's a writing workshop, but it is connected to mindfulness. It's an affirmation workshop. It's learning the power of repetition and refrains in poetry and how they can lead you into creating better affirmations. So we are doing that, but I might need to do a workshop on how they properly use affirmations too, and how to really help people's mind and imaginations with that. So I might add a little bit to my description. So if I do, it's your fault. So if they get mad at me, but I'm adding stuff, I'm gonna say you told me I could do it.
Okay, so funny stories. You have any funny story from when you was on the road that you want to share?
Ooh, that's appropriate.
Yeah, that's appropriate.
Funny stories on the road. Oh man.
Every traveling artist or traveling person who travels has a funny story. Or just something that happened, you're like, what? Like
It's, you know what? I haven't been being in school for so long. Like I don't travel as much. So like a funny story on the road. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. I can't think.
you can't think. Okay.
A funny story. I'm sure something has happened to me. But you also said it has to be appropriate. So I think the appropriate.
I would prefer appropriate.
The appropriate part is what's keeping people figuring out a funny story. I owe y'all an appropriate funny story in the future.
Okay, that's fine. All right. So, of course, like we said earlier, make sure you go to his website, check out his site, get his poetry, books, anything he has for sale, merchandise, whatever. Make sure you guys support. That is the website below. I'm gonna give a little update on what's going on with P3 as well. We have our upcoming training coming up. It's going on this week, and then we also have a training at the end of this month. If you want more information about those trainings, you can email me. I'm gonna put my email address up here, am. So you can email me for anything. We have RAP training, which stands for Wellness Recovery Action Plan. It's coming up on the 25th. Yep, I was right. 25th and 26th of this month. So if you want more information about that training, you can email me. And then we also have some trainings coming up later on this summer as well. So I'm always here and the resource if you want more information about the organization and what we do. We combine arts as well as mental health messaging and peer support. So we're about that time. Would you like to share a poem with us before you leave, Stephen?
Oh, a poem. I got you. I got you. Let's see. Let's see. I know who killed him, but I'd never tell. But that don't mean that I agreed with what they did. It just means I've learned not to judge a people for how they grieve. Learn not to judge the hood for how it loves you back. Love from the hood. And honor only bestowed on those who showed the hood the most unwavering of loyalties. I'm talking street niggas. Most literally from cradle to grave. Most literally from corner to coroner. Most literally niggas who hug the block in their last moments gasping for air. Right before yellow tapes makes a spectacle of their bodies sprawled on cement. If the hood loves you, she'll make a monument of this location. They will bring teddy bears, well wishes, and heavy hearts. This is now sacred ground, to be renamed as memorial and landmark. This is no longer Jefferson Avenue, but where Twig got shot. For the next 6 nights, you will see candles like this space holy, until the wind blows it silent, until the ember is blown in the direction of the summer's next casualty. If the hood loves you, she'll write it in tombstone text. A boy's face and childhood nickname will be written in script across the double XLYT. Ain't it funny how quickly death becomes fashionable? A testament to how tragic memories don't fade even in the washing machine. You can expect your closest of kin to tattoo your name in the most visible of places. Your birth date in Roman numeral will kiss the left side of your little sister's collarbone long before a boy ever does. In grief, we graffiti murals. That's how Biggie and Pac got faces in places that they never called home. I know boys who bore the weight of pallbearer long before the rigors of college, but the most famous of us will have streets named in our honor. Martin Luther King Drive and Malcolm X Boulevard both debunk the myth of respectability and proves that no matter the politics, all black boys are doomed to die by bullets. But how can you complain when the hood loves you? And we gonna keep loving you. Long after the gravel has swallowed your portion of the 40, long after they've packed that car with vengeance, long after another boy's life is taken in retaliation of yours, continuing the cycle of trauma and street violence. Yes, y'all, the hood will love you enough to murder for you, but never enough to snitch. Yes, y'all, I know who did it. I was there when they bought the 4/5. Yes, y'all, I watched the news. I listened as they emptied the clip. And yes, y'all, I'll do it again. Yes, y'all, I'll do it again. Damn motherfucking right, I will do it again because I miss my brother so much. But that don't mean that I agreed with what they did. It just means I've learned not to judge the people for how they grieve. Learn not to judge the hood for how it loves you back. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We got your website down there again. And then, of course, thewriterofjoy.com. He's going to be our feature for our slam. If you are interested in being an artist or a presenter for Writer of Joy, you have the website right there. Make sure you guys check it out. And again, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to contact me directly. I have my email address there also. And or if you just want general questions about our organization, you can email us at the info as well. I'm Serenity reminding you to stay at peace. Please check us out, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank y'all. See you.